What's up everybody, welcome to my first video. Today we're going to be making some alien coasters. Now I've made a couple of these before. This is what they look like. But these ones we're making today are going to be a little bit different. So essentially what we have here is these little aliens are made out of resin with this mold here. And also, as you can see, there's one for a little keychain. We're going to make some keychains too. So these little guys go inside the coaster, and we're going to do these little golden rings in there too. So it'll sit kind of like that. That way, you know, it just gives it a little more flair. So the molds we're going to be using are these alien keychain molds, this bracelet mold for the gold ring, and these little round coaster molds. So I've already got all of these guys made already, and all the rings and several keychains made. But for the purpose of showing you how I do it, we'll run through that real quick. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm just making a mark on the bracelet mold so I know how deep to pour to get my golden ring. I don't want it to be too thick because I don't want it to be thicker than the coaster mold. A little more than halfway as thick as the coaster mold is what I'm going for here. And now I'm just going to take a pipette and start to fill the mold to the line. And now I'm moving on to the alien head, and pretty standard, just take a pipette and go around the outer edges first so you can fill the little spaces between the eyes and the outer edge of the mold. It's best to do that first because I found it kind of cuts down on the amount of bubbles you'll get in that little area there. And then I'll just fill it almost to the point where it's overflowing, but obviously you don't want to overflow. The reason you want to fill it pretty full is because as it cures, it'll sink back a little bit, and then you'll have a dip. And now we move on to the top part of the coasters. So what I do here is I kind of pour these in reverse. I start with the top. So I'm starting with a clear layer here, about 1 millimeter thick. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the heat gun and pop any bubbles. And now I'll go ahead and position the gold ring. I've made marks on the ring and I've made marks on the mold just to kind of help guide me and help me be able to center it more, just so it's not you know, asymmetrical. And now I'll go ahead and position the alien head in there. And I'm just going to eyeball that to try and keep it centered. So now I'm doing the eyes on the aliens, and this is pretty straightforward. What I do is I just take a piece of packing tape and put it on the back side just to keep the resin from flowing out underneath it. And I just take a pipette and fill it with black resin. So I've let the coasters cure for about 3.5 to 4 hours, and the reason for that is so it's firm enough where I can pour on it, but it's not fully cured, so the next layer will adhere really well. And also I've put in these little silver star glitter pieces. They're just like little pieces of star-shaped foil, I guess you would call it. And I've just kind of sprinkled them around on the semi-cured resin. So here I've got some black resin with some purple glitter in it, and just a little bit of blue glitter in there for some variety. And what I like to do if I'm putting glitter in resin is I'll go ahead and I'll put the color in, and then I'll let it thicken up a bit, let it get to where it's pretty warm and viscous, and then I'll put the glitter in. Because if you put the glitter in while it's still too runny, the glitter will tend to sink to the bottom. Alright, so it's been about 18 hours since we finished our pour, so let's demold our coasters. So here's the first one. This is the white alien head. That didn't turn out too bad. It's got that nice kind of 3D effect. I do wish I would have figured out a way to more evenly distribute the little star glitter things in there, because I don't like how they kind of clump up in some places and then it's kind of empty in other places, but you know, you learn as you go. So here we have the green one. And again, nice 3D effect. Same thing with the stars. That star glitter was really hard to work with because it has a tendency to kind of go everywhere, just like any kind of glitter. And now our gray one. So they turned out pretty good. Like I said, if I make these again in the future, what I'd like to do is, you know, either skip the star glitter altogether or try to go for, you know, try to figure out some kind of method to get them more evenly distributed. But they still look pretty great. I like them. They look a lot more vibrant than the old one that I made. And the keychains turned out pretty good as well. Another thing I might want to try doing is maybe find some kind of ribbon or something that I can kind of embed around the edges there, because that doesn't look awful, but I feel like it's just kind of plain. And I think it'd be a lot cooler with maybe some like holographic tape. I've got some couple different colors of holographic tape that I could try in something like that. So our first project is done. I'm pretty pleased with the way they turned out. And though there is room for improvement, I'd say they look pretty good. So if anybody has any ideas of the next project I can maybe explore, just leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. And I've got a bunch of stencils. I've got a bunch of small molds too. I've got these leaf molds. I've got some other, like a couple deer molds, like reindeer molds and snowflake molds. Stuff that I'm wanting to do for Christmas, which I will be doing in some future videos. Some Christmas coasters, some wall art, ornaments, and stuff like that. Seems like it'll be really fun. So, until next time.